Well, hello out there to all of you seekers of plastic camaraderie, and welcome to my channel, where I sit and talk about dolls. Sometimes it's Barbie, sometimes it's Illy, sometimes it's Monster High, sometimes it's a Disney princess. Must I carry on? I feel like you get the point. Basically, if she's made of plastic and looking for a home, then she's welcome here. Because I make questionable financial decisions with dolls, but justify it by calling it content. My name is Daniel, and I am the Barbie book boy. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at a lady that I recently acquired at a discount because I was not having any full price shenanigans bringing me down on this day. I refuse to be swindled by someone 1/6 my size. I'm talking about none other than the Replay the Classics Enchanted Evening Barbie. This pink-clad little punk was released in 2025 as part of a retrospective celebrating Mattel's 80th anniversary. See, says so right here, 80th Mattel. And she is supposed to be a tribute to her older sister, Enchanted Evening Barbie from 1960. Now, I don't actually own an original. This is a 1995 reproduction, but for a reproduction, it is pretty awesome. And she's going to be making random appearances throughout this video to judge her own tribute doll because she's an expert in all things Enchanted Evening Barbie. And look, I know it isn't fair to compare these two because they are at vastly different price points. When this lady first came out, she was between like $30 and $40-ish, which adjusted for inflation is about $65 to $85 in today's money. And this lady, she's only supposed to be a tribute. She's not actually supposed to be a faithful reproduction. Well, this one actually is supposed to be a reproduction, true to form. But I'm going to be comparing them anyway. So let's get into it. Starting with her cardboard cage. Barbie's just kind of like awkwardly hanging out here in this window box. She's not really posing or anything, which is odd because we can see her wealth of articulation. So, I mean, they could have given her any number of poses, but instead they chose this weird, awkward hand positioning that I don't really understand. Like this hand, her elbow's turned out, but her hand is like up, and this one's just kind of like back against a wall. I don't know what she's doing. It's like, this is a window box. We can see you. Do something. Strike a pose. Anyway, onto the back of the box. I love the retro styling with the 60s yellow background and the little pink starbursts here all over the place. It's a very like early 60s atomic era aesthetic. Oh, and see, this is the pose that I'm talking about. Why isn't she doing this? I don't blame you, Barbie. I'm sorry. I blame your human handlers over there at Mattel. I have to encourage her, otherwise she's likely to feel bad about herself. And I don't want any upset dolls on my watch. Anyway, the back of the box has this blurb here that's broken up into two parts. So it starts up here at the top and then it jumps down here to finish, which I thought was kind of a strange choice because normally when they do these blurbs, they keep all of the languages separate into their own like chunks. So like the English part would be one chunk, the Spanish part would be one chunk, the French part would be one chunk, so on and so forth. But I mean, it isn't like anybody asked me. Anyway, it's in a few different languages here, so if you want, you can go ahead and pause to read. So here's the top part in English, and then it continues on into two other languages, and then the English part continues down here, and then the rest of the languages finish at the bottom. And I love all the different languages because Barbie is the global ambassador for all Enchanted Evenings. Okay, you know what? That's enough chit chat. Let's bust her loose and get this Enchanted Evening started. We'll be right back. And here she is in all of her pink, satiny glory. Now, they didn't bother to give her a doll stand, but they did, however, decide to put tape on her legs in an effort to protect her articulated knee joints. But it's slightly disappointing that they didn't bother to include a doll stand because she is, after all, supposed to be a tribute doll, and she's not exactly at the Playline price point. But now that she's come out to play, we can judge for ourselves just how enchanted of an evening this is gonna be. Starting with her ferocious ponytail. So the ponytail is nice and high, and unlike her older sister, it just falls straight down her back, rather than going off to the side like hers here in these soft curls. And frankly, I like both styles. So this is going to be a tough one for me. I mean, I like that baby sister's hair is brushable because I am all about the hair play, but I like big sister's more platinum blonde style as opposed to this more like honey blonde. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but you can see that big sister's hair is a lighter blonde. But you know, I think I'm going to give this one to Big Sister because I like her bangs. Unless you are the swirl ponytail Barbie, vintage ponytail Barbies are supposed to have bangs. And they did not give bangs to Little Sister. And honestly, I feel like if they had given bangs to Little Sister, the hair for me would probably actually be a tie. Moving on. So the face sculpt here is just classic Millie, because for whatever reason, Mattel just can't quit her. But I've made peace with Millie, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse to death. And like, I feel like it's probably obvious here, but the vintage face sculpt is going to have to take the win on this one. Sorry, Millie, there's just no competing with the vintage glamour era face. But her screening is nice and soft and feminine, and for a Millie, she's actually very pretty. They got a nice, crisp, beautiful blue color on these eyes, even though they are slightly pixelated. I do love the pink lips, so for a Millie, her screening is very pretty. Also, she features a somewhat sideways glance in an obvious nod to those vintage era, glamour era Barbies, including Big Sis. Though Baby Sister's side glance is more aspirational than downcast. It's almost like she's gazing up at the enchanted evening stars and dreaming about the moment when she can take off her uncomfortable heels. Moving on. So Little Sister has pearl earrings and a pearl necklace like her older sister. So, I mean, I guess props for trying, but these matte plastic studs and molded plastic choker just can't hold a candle to Big Sister's shinier, more realistic looking jewelry. See, hers is actual beaded string, and hers is this clunky molded plastic that looks like they forgot to punch the pearls out of the factory mold. Frankly, they gave a better strand of pearls to the dog from the Barbie twinning set. So Big Sis takes the lead on jewelry. Moving on. Now, I would say that so far as their faux fur stoles go, they're pretty much evenly matched. I mean, Big Sister's might be a little fuller, but they kind of feel like they're the same in terms of quality. And I believe on the original Enchanted Evening fashion from the 60s, the fur stole was actual real fur. So props to these ladies for getting away from wearing real fur and going for faux instead. But I mean, really, they're fairly similar. So I think I'm going to call the fur stole a tie. Now, the original fashion came with these high opera gloves. And believe it or not, I'm going to give this one to Little Sister's bare arms. Because I don't like gloves at this 1/6 doll scale. They never have individual fingers, and so to me, they always just kind of read as oven mitts. Moving on. As for their respective gowns, who are both trying to affect this satiny personality, it is going to be a booger to compare them. So I think, you know, I'm just going to start with the color. So they're both wearing pink, we can say that much. But Baby Sister has a much deeper pink tone than Big Sister. Big Sister has gone with this more pale pink color. And for me, I like both color choices. So I think I'm actually going to call the dress color a tie. As for the material itself, I was actually pleasantly surprised that Baby Sister's satin doesn't feel papery. Though I doubt you'll be surprised to hear that it doesn't quite compare to the same heavy luxuriousness of Big Sister's satin fabric. But aside from the color, these two also feature a few different styling differences. Note this giant train here on Big Sister's dress, which is in desperate need of a wrinkle steaming and some dry cleaning. See this self-adhesive residue that's stuck at the bottom of her dress from years of cardboard confinement? But altogether, Big Sister's train is a much more elegant showing compared to this more modern styling of Little Sister's, who decided to go with a dress that has a high slit and this laser cut suggestion of the train's once former glory. Though I do think I prefer Baby Sister's rosette to the original. Also, Little Sis accessorized the ensemble with a white purse, which I feel like earns her bonus styling points, because who can go out for an enchanted evening and leave their purse at home? So as for the shoes, they each have these glitter-infused clear plastic heels, but Little Sis has gone for this more chunky-heeled platform-style shoe, while Big Sis went for a more stiletto-styled heel. Also, Big Sis opted for this fire engine red pedicure, while Little Sis opted for nude toes. And for me, I gotta say, it's all about the stiletto heel that Big Sis is wearing. I just don't see these chunky heels rising to the occasion of such a formal affair as an enchanted evening. So Big Sis takes the win on shoes. Okay, so that's it for comparing. And if we were to tally up the points, it puts the winner at, who cares? I haven't exactly been keeping track. And I don't feel like going back and tallying up the wins. But really, I hope I haven't come off as seeming unfair to this doll, because the truth is she really is quite beautiful. And I do love her. And I don't want her feeling insecure about being in her big sister's shadow, so I think I'm just gonna call the whole thing a tie. Because both of these dolls are absolutely lovely, both of them are gorgeous, both of them are excited about the enchanted evening ahead of them. What exactly do you think is happening for Barbie in her enchanted evening? Is it enchanted like Beauty and the Beast, furniture coming to life due to a vengeful witch's curse? Or is it enchanted like a budding romance on the horizon? Or is it maybe just the theme of her prom? I don't know, I mean, I guess we don't have to decide on one theme. Because for this gal, every night for the rest of her life is going to be an enchanted evening. So maybe it's all of the above. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today as I liberated yet another plastic pal from her cardboard cage. I'm going to be doing these little doll review videos weekly, so if this is your thing, then stay tuned. Also, if you're into books, be sure to go check out my videos on book reviews. I am, after all, the Barbie book boy. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment for this tantalizing little tribute to an iconic moment in Barbie history. Tell us what in this tribute worked for you, what didn't. Tell her all about your own adventures of growing up in an older sibling's legendary shadow. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am severely underdressed. I'm gonna go change into something a little more formal, so I can enjoy an enchanted evening of sitting at home and playing with my dolls while binge watching Bridgerton. Bye!